Welcome to another episode of the Bhandwagon Podcast, and today I'm going international via home with somebody I've been following on social media. Is a proper role model. Is absolutely fantastic in all the work that she's doing. Without further ado, Sanmukh Kaur, also known as Combat Kaur. Welcome to the Bhandwagon Podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I mean, it's sorry, the pleasure is all mine. It's trying. I was always trying to get in contact. I was like trying to work out what kind of approach I would do. You're just traveling everywhere, and to keep tabs on you is very difficult.
Yeah, it is. Every time I get a phone call from a friend, they'll be like, "Wait, before I start a conversation, what country are you in?" And I'm like, "Come on, is it that bad?"
I think it's a sign of, in terms of success, in terms of what you're doing, but also in terms of kind of a learning point, like traveling the world and taking things in. What do you find the most things that you take away from, especially when you're traveling?
You definitely do experience things. You experience even culturally, so you experience people. You'll experience people's cultures, people's backgrounds. That's a big thing when you're traveling. The food. I think out of all the countries I've been so far, England still beats it all. India and England, they have the best food. But yeah, so and just being independent as well, like finding that stuff, like for yourself. Even little things like obviously I do Gatka, right, which we'll probably talk about properly in depth after on what it is. Even taking Shasta abroad. The first time I did it, I was like so scared. I was like, oh, I can't. And I've actually never done it. I was supposed to do it now with this Toronto, but and you realize that, oh my God, this is the kind of things you leave onto your parents, like stuff like that, or car rentals, looking for flights. Usually my brother is really good at looking for flights, getting the best deal. But like I've learned all these little things which people might think, oh, just that. But yeah, it adds up when you're planning a whole trip, where you want to stay. Because I'm very fussy about where I stay. It has to be a nice place, whether it's someone's house or it's a hotel. And yeah, you just learn and you just grow like that as well, for sure. Being more independent there by yourself.
How do you say if you've got to stay at someone's house and you actually got second thoughts? Actually, you're like, I'm not sure this house is any good. Oh,
well, touch wood, that's not happened to me.
Oh, that's all right. That is the correct answer. That is very diplomatic. I like the way you said that question. It was a bit naughty of me actually to set you up, but I just thought I'd just test the waters.
I like I don't care what you ask me. Like I will say how it is, and I'm not going to be sorry about it because it's my opinion and it's my thought and it's my experience. But I will not be nasty to anyone. I will not be mean throughout this podcast, and I will not be saying anything indirectly to somebody. But if the shoe fits, that's on you, and that's it, really.
Wow, lovely. I should get you to do some of my bhangra ones. Okay, here we go. So you're you're based in Canada now, but you were originally from the UK. Is that right?
Yeah, born and bred in the UK. Was there for 27 years.
So what made you kind of like think get up and go? Was it just the weather, or was it just?
I know there's a lot of assumptions out there as well, so I might as well just be open about that, about why I moved. We all know that people like to talk and be like, oh, there's a reason she must have moved, and but trust me, I have not moved because of any situation, because of someone. Literally no one is scary enough to make me move like that, okay? Because I still go back to England. So if that was the case, what people are saying, then I wouldn't be going back. But now that's cleared, I actually moved because my nan live on this side in BC. It actually started with my friend proposing a business opportunity to me to open a cake shop in Toronto. And obviously that was Toronto. And I just around that time, when we were planning it, things were a bit up and down. My nephew passed away that year. My brother was in that accident too, and he was only 14. My nephew was, and after that, I kind of said to my friend, I was like, listen, obviously it was really hard for us, my family and everybody when that happened. So I told my friend, obviously, look, can we fast forward things? I need something to focus on. And so I said, I want to do the cake shop quick. I want to go to Toronto quick. I wanted to just get out of there. I don't know. I just wanted something to focus on other than what's happened, because my brother did get hurt quite a lot as well in that accident. So, yeah. So my friend literally was like, you know what, fine, let's go. Let's have a quick meeting and let's do it. So we fast forwarded it. The accident happened in April, and I moved by May. So like literally the next month. We went to Toronto. It was good, like, to get out and like try and be focusing on something else. And long story short, it didn't really work out because Canada is so different when you want to open a business. Yeah, and I guess my friend wasn't really prepared. So it was going to take some time. And he was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to England. And I was like, you know what, my nanny, Mama Dihuni, are complaining that why is she in Toronto? She should be in BC. So I was like, I'm not going to wait around either. I'm going. So what I did, I thought before I actually go to BC, because I knew that once I'm there, I'm just going to stay there. I'm going to go back to England, spend some more time with mom and dad, because it was just going to be me and my brother who's going to move at this point. And then I'll just move properly for good, on a working visa though. So then so obviously that happened. So I went back, and then I moved to BC in like August, and I've just been here since, living with my Mama Jihuni. Mama Jihuni, I've been saying for like many years for us to move, and it's always been because of me that we're not, because of my friends there and you know, my work there and everything. But as you get older, you realize that actually, you know what, you don't have to be like so attached to all these things like friends. And I'm not saying I love my friends, and I will do anything for my friends, and they know that. But what I'm trying to say is that life is the way, like, you can have it all if you want it. So when I moved here, I realized that my career is way better, my money is good, like, and that's like the main reason I moved, the money and the career, because you're at work most of the time, so you need to make sure you're happy there. So yeah, I decided from that, that's it, I need to move. And I can, you know, with friends, you can always go back, you can always visit, and I already have twice this year alone, so I'm good with those. So that's the reason I actually moved.
I didn't know it was such a focal point in some ways, but I was gonna get to that. But in terms of like, you made a few decisions there just based on emotion. In terms of like, you've gone through a very heavy sort of loss within the family. You've then, you know, your brother. Do you think you managed to do the deal with the emotion, and is that something that you are conscious about now when you're making some of your decisions? Because, you know, considering that's in April and you're there in May, it didn't work out, so you were kind of on the, you know, fast-paced kind of decision making there.
Yeah, so I don't regret any of it. I don't regret that I was trying to focus on something else, because at the end of the day, I don't think there's any such thing as doing something too fast. That's my experience. Like, some people are like, oh no, you'll need time for this, you'll need to plan this, blah blah blah. But it's okay to just up and go, because actually everything I've done since, it has worked out. Like, you could say, well, you know, your shop didn't work out. Yeah, and I got the experience, didn't I? Like, I got to see Toronto, I made friends, people who know Combat Core in Toronto got to meet me. I have family there, I got to meet them. So it was just good, and I got the experience of, okay, you know what, if I do want to open a shop in the future, this is what I'll need to do, or this is what I need to consider. So I gained all that from going there. If I didn't, I would have now thought, oh, I bet it's easy to open a shop or whatever, and I know what the marketing's like, I know kind of how to do, what's the steps towards it, because obviously we were planning it, obviously we were looking for shops, blah blah blah. So definitely, and then obviously I came back, but all that may seem like a rash decision, but I'm happy where I am today. So, and I think it's, without those steps I wouldn't be.
I just want to go back in terms of what a young Sanmukh was like, and the differences between yourself and Combat Core in some ways as a kind of a persona. Do you separate the two, or is it part of one?
I think it is one. It's not. I know a lot of people have a stage name and then a personal name, which they can't differentiate. I mean, mostly it's probably actors and actresses who do that though, so I'm not sure. But yeah, me for sure, it's just the one. Comeback Core, Sanmukh is same. I guess Comeback Core grew from Sanmukh, and that's why I say that. Whether people will see me as a confident person, a bit of a feisty person, which I am.
I couldn't tell.
Like, the feisty side is okay, maybe that's more Sanmukh though, because obviously when I'm Comeback Core, it's like I need to keep it a bit more controlled. I can't be too feisty now.
Yeah, but, especially if you got weapons in your hand. I don't think that many people are gonna be a bit cheeky to you.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, like, people might see feistiness as a bad thing, but it's not if you're standing your ground. And now me, I will get hate for it. Like sometimes, like, oh, she's so rude or she's so cheeky, but actually, people can't stand when you stand up for yourself. So I think that's the problem. They'll take it the wrong way, but I'm not gonna stop standing for myself.
So when you were younger, you had your relationship with Gatka started at the age of 5. Is that right? And what was your introduction to that?
Okay, so I was 5 when I started, and that was because of my mom. A lot of people think that it's my dad. My dad is my teacher, and they think that my dad got me into it, but there's a twist that it's actually my mom. And the way that was because I used to go to Gatka classes with my dad. My mom sent me, but I used to just be running around and just getting distracted and just, I can't do it, and just like carry on, do my thing, but not actually listen. And it was hard for dad because, you got other students. He can't just be like focusing on me. It's like he would leave me to it, but then I'm like run off again, or do you know what I mean? So my dad was like to mom, she doesn't listen. So then my mom had to start Gatka with me, and then my mom started doing the pantra. Pantra is like the basic of Gatka. It's a footwork, which then you learn with the hands. My mom actually learned it with me, and then that's when I started learning properly. Once I got the hang of it and I started getting into it a bit more, got a bit older, then mom obviously, quit and left me to it with my dad. So out of my family, it's me, mom and dad. Me, my dad and my brother who do Gatka.
Just for those people who kind of who are listening or for the first time and don't know much about Gatka, can you just give us a bit like a brief introduction of your knowledge in terms of what it means to you and your understanding of it?
Yeah, so everybody will think Gatka in a different way. Think of Gatka in a different way. For me, Gatka is the Sikh martial art so the martial art that they used back in the day when they used to fight the Mughals, and it's been continued on since. It's not just a weapon-based martial art. So some people think that it's a weapon-based martial art only, but it's not. It is a unarmed combat too. That's what I believe. I believe that when Maharaj back in the day would fight and say if they lost their shastra, I don't think they would run the opposite way. I genuinely feel like they would be fighting with hands then at that point. So that's why it is to me. It's also a discipline. It keeps you disciplined. It isn't all about the violence. It's definitely a discipline too. I guess if I would say definitely that if you don't have discipline as a martial artist, you are not a true martial artist. Because I feel like that's one of the main rules. One of the that's one of the ways you should be disciplined when it comes to martial arts, weapons, because you have a lot of power. You have a lot of authority in that sense when it comes to the martial art. You know what you're doing, and I think it's like you have to keep that in control for sure.
And was there any part of you, because as a kid, especially when I used to go and see, especially at Nagar Kirtan, and you used to see a lot of the Gatka displays from there, you used to kind of peek behind someone's back to look at it because you're scared of an accident happening. I remember my friend actually went to a few Gatka classes and lost a tooth because he got hit. Was there any fear in terms of when you were kind of learning it, especially very early on? Because it's not for the weak-hearted, for me to say, from my opinion. I always had a lot more kind of like idolization of people who use it, because it was, I'm into martial arts. I just got a Bruce Lee shirt. I love watching people who master their disciplines or who are into it. But it always comes with a bit of fear and trepidation. Did you experience that at all, or was that because it was already in the house? Your dad kind of subconsciously already kind of fed it into you.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever. I don't think I was ever afraid like that. It's weird. I can't remember a stage in my life where I was scared like that at all. When it came to it, I was so used to it. So I guess because I started from a young age, that it kind of ingrained in me or something. I don't know.
But was there a lot of girls doing it as well at that time with you, or were you one of the few?
I've always been the one that's continued. So I'm the one who's been doing the longest out of everyone, and I think all the teams, really, to be honest. People used to come and go. So we would get women who come and then come for a few years and maybe stop. And then, yeah.
But you also started teaching, didn't you, at the age of 16 as well? How different was that from when you were teaching to when you were a student?
I was 15.
15, sorry.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, obviously I can't remember exactly, but I just remember because I got quite good at it quite quick. But to be fair, that's a lot of years, 5 to 15. So I, and then I would just start helping my dad, in the class and stuff. So, but yeah, what was your question?
In terms of from what was the main differences that you kind of experienced from when you were a student to when you were teaching?
So teaching then and teaching now, are you saying?
When you were just from the first transition of when you were a student, because like when you're a student, you obviously you're learning. I mean, you're constantly learning. Let's get out of that. You're always learning, right? But then when you go into from when you start teaching, you realize some of your techniques, your own technique, or you might be learning how to kind of speak with people or trying to teaching methods. Did that ever come into play and help you at all?
I think when it came to teaching, like I would focus strictly on teaching the person what I know. It would help me teach them, as in it would help me how to explain. So like it would get easier for me every time as well in that sense. So every time I'm teaching someone, it would get easier because I'll be like, oh wait, this method worked easy for this person. Okay, this person, maybe I can teach and then break it down in a better way. So the more I was teaching, the more easier it was getting for me to teach. But the younger kids, it would get hard because obviously sometimes they don't have the patience, sometimes they're rushing it, or sometimes they're just not listening and they start looking at something else and it's like, hello, yeah, it's still experience. Like currently now though, I'm not really teaching. People have been saying to me, can you to start classes, but I just don't have the time right now. They're even saying, even if you can try and do virtual, that's fine, but it's just really hard because I want to be committed once I start. I don't want to be like, oh, I can't come now, I'm going here, I'm going over there. Like I need to make sure I'm committed when I do start. So yeah, but we'll see about that. But yeah, so in regards to teaching, yeah, for sure. Over time, I think I stopped teaching when I was like 25, maybe. It was on and off throughout those whole years. Yeah. And the last time I taught was actually just now in the camp, Toronto's course camp. I did a workshop. We did, and I taught them the pentra with the hands, the feet. It was really fun. It was really good.
With the pentra, just going through that, can you just explain what's the significance of that and the importance of it?
So pentra would be, you could also call it a salami. It's basically showing respect to Guruji. So Guruji, I don't mean Guru Granth Sahib Ji at this point. I'm talking about the Shastra. I see my Shastra as my Guru. And the reason for that is because our 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, would bow down to Shastra. So if they bow down to Shastra, like, of course I'm going to, show that respect. God, I love Shastra. Like when I talk about it, I get this heartbeat, like warm feeling inside. But yeah, so definitely that's like part of the respect coming towards them. And what you do is with the pentra, it also can be an attack. It also can be a defense mechanism, which I was showing people. I can't really show you on camera right now; it's too small. But yeah, and then you finish it off with a jump, and then you kind of sit in like in a disciplined position, you could say, and you ask for agya and you put your head down. You're basically saying to Maharaj, like, give me agya to pick up a shastra. You're asking for permission. You're not just taking the shastra and swinging it around. I feel like asking, in a humble way for a shastra, I think that's an amazing thing. And I think that's what makes you a warrior as well. Like, coming back to the discipline, warrior side of things, see, that's the discipline that you're asking, Maharaj, can I have this? And then people will reply, the Sangat will reply, Guru ki agya, meaning Maharaj has given you permission to pick up that shastra. So, that's a little bit about the Bhandra.
So you're a young person at this stage. You're still young now, but I mean, like, you're a young person at this stage. You've got these skills. You've got a martial arts discipline, which is so powerful. At school and stuff, how did you kind of manage not to let that side come out, knowing that you had all these skills? Because I know that there would be some characters who would misuse those skills that they have. How did you kind of keep that discipline there?
I'm going to be honest and say that even though I did Gatka, I wasn't that confident when I was younger. And some people were like, what? I was like, yeah, like I only learned confidence, and it wasn't, okay, Gatka definitely played a part, but the main reason I was confident as I got older was because of the stuff I went through. So personal stuff, things that actually hurt me, things that got me down in life, when people didn't support me but went against me instead, or they will listen to rumors and, be narrow-minded about things, not approach me and talk to me, but just assume things. These kind of things are the things that made me stronger and more confident. I wouldn't say Gatka as much. However, obviously that played a part after, like, I made it bigger, and that helped me because of the training, remembering who I am and not letting these people get to me. In school, I wasn't actually that confident. I don't know. I don't know why, but I guess it is different for everybody else. Someone who did martial arts from a young age, maybe they were just confident like from the start, but I wasn't. My confidence probably kicked in properly, I'd say, when I got into university, to be honest.
Was the I mean, I'm not going anywhere into that arena of what you were saying, but I can relate to a little bit the shyness, and I was very shy as a kid, and then until I started learning the Dhol, and because when you're in a Dhol, yeah, I was gonna this was my segue into that. Learning the Dhol was one of the things where I learned to be kind of part of a team, as well. But then also when you'd have to play solo, or when you had gigs at weddings or parties and things like that, and that really helped break my sort of my confidence bit. You've got you also play the Dhol in that. What was your relationship with the Dhol as well?
Dhol was good, man. Like, I started Dhol in year 7, and I joined a team, obviously a group. I learned from a teacher called Mr. Singh, which is probably for a lot of people's teachers in Birmingham, anyway. And my God,
where was he based?
Birmingham.
Mr. Singh.
Yeah.
I'm probably getting loads of people just shouting at me saying, Rick, how don't you know Mr. Singh? Because I learned from Dhol Blast, isn't it? Gurjan Mal.
Oh my God, we used to team up with them sometimes. Yeah, Dhol Blast. And they played like the Dhol for us as well, like obviously doing Gatka. And we've seen them at Nugget, them like, yeah, come, we need you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dhol Blasters, wait, what's his name? The teacher.
Gurjan Mal. Again. The one used to be with...
He used to live near me. He's literally my dad's friend.
Yeah.
My dad.
So that's Hansa there and then. Oh, that's Birmingham there and then.
Because it was my school used to call Mr. Singh in, so that's why I learned of him.
Oh, right, okay.
You get to miss a lesson for it, so. Yeah.
So you're learning your Dhol bit.
Yeah. So I had a good connection with Dhol. Like, it was fun, being part of a group and doing performances in front of the whole school, and for Basar and whatever other stuff they used to have. concerts. We used to call them school concerts, you could say. Yeah, it was fun. I like music. I don't really know what got me into it though. Maybe my friend and me, we just found out about it. We just thought, oh, should we try it? And then we tried it, me and my friend, and we actually liked it. It was good, and it's come in handy. It's weird because back then I didn't think Dhol. It can come handy when I do Gatka. I just thought Dhol music. Oh, this is fun, and it turned into something I needed. So God is great because He'll lead me to do stuff that actually become useful. Because now, like in England, when I was back in England, and we used to have bookings for Gatka, my dad would need like it obviously, say if it was a school day or work day, it's hard for people to come off and go to it, especially if it was like we were doing a performance in a university or a school. It was hard for people to come with us to do the Gatka with us because obviously they're at work or whatever, or at school. So me and my brother, we would take time off school, and then we would perform, and it would be just literally probably like four of us doing a whole demo, right? It used to be a killer, and then it would be like literally me playing Dhol, going on doing my thing, and then Dad's gonna play Dhol, then my brother's gonna go like literally like a whole 360, like, and it was crazy. Once we did 4 demos in one day. We killed it.
So from when I've talked about the Dhol before, it's been in for Punjabi folk music and stuff like that. What's the significance for the Dhol as for the martial art?
So I believe back in the day, obviously they use drums. They're probably using the gare and the Dhols. You know how the Dhols are like they're a different size now. I think back then they were bigger. But obviously that's the closest thing we can use. Obviously adapted that. You start using it for bhangra and stuff. That's what I believe. But I guess it just, yeah. I mean, they use it. We use it. It's what it is. Hannah. It's like
no, I
get it. Music at the end of the day, it's about what you do with it. So obviously we do it for the beat, for us to, it gets you an adrenaline as well, like kicks in when you're doing the Dhol, and probably same with the bhangra people. And it just helps you because we have a beat that goes slow when you're doing Gatka slow, and then when you do a jagara, it's like the Dhol person should know, like, yo, you're gonna now double it up, and then we're gonna go really fast, and then they're gonna go, and we say fateh, meaning stop. And then it will slow down again and go back to chal or whatever slow one you want to play.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's what I thought should be useful in my head.
Yeah. But, no, I don't want to offend people and be like, oh yeah.
No, it's fine. I think from this side, it's like I'm learning. It's the same as people probably listening or for the first time or already know. You'll have people with different experiences and different sort of knowledge and learning. So it's important, for clarification and to understand your journey in terms of what you're doing. Your social media presence of Combat Kaur come about. Then how did that happen?
So it all started in 2018. I was going through a hard time in 2018, and I decided I'm going to spend some time with my sister in Australia. It's my Massi's daughter. And she has 3 kids. I thought, take this time out to go over there, spend some time, get give my head some space, whatever, and come back. And when I was in Australia, my friend from Kent had said to me, your videos are going mad viral on Facebook. Why don't you do something on Instagram? Like, you're going through this rough time right now. Put that energy into something good, and you'll see that. Look how much value you have as a person. And I was there like, no, I ain't doing it, can't be bothered, blah blah blah, doing all that. And I guess we all go through that, where when we're going through a hard time, we will be like, oh, I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't want to go anywhere, I don't want to do this. And we become so negative minded just because we're going through a hard time. We forget about all the good things. It happens, and we really need to start changing that, because it leads to just more negativity in life. And I've gone through it, hence I want to share that it's just not worth it, and that if there's good going on around you, if there's anything good, even the littlest thing, grasp onto it. So he said that to me, and I was just like, no. And then all of a sudden, literally a day later, he sent me a profile, and it said Combat Kaur on there. He goes, here's the username, here's the password, no excuses, start uploading. And I was there like,
who came up with the name? Did he come up with the name, or did you?
And my friend came up with it, the one from Kent. he came up with it, and he's actually a oh my god, does he do kickboxing or Thai boxing? He's gonna kill me. But
just say it fastly. You won't be able to tell.
sorry.
If you say it fast, he won't be able to tell which one it is. But now dwelling on it, he's going to work it out that you don't know.
It's all right. I'll apologize to him. But yeah, so he, you know, he literally named me that. He named me that, and I'm so thankful that God brings these kind of people into my life that actually help me. Like, it's easy for us to say we have friends. Everyone's got friends, but what does your friend do for you? You know, that's what counts really. And you know, he did that, and that's it. Again, password, username, done. And I literally just posted. I didn't know anything about Instagram like that, and all of a sudden I was come back Kaur. I followed like a few people. Like, just I don't follow anyone on there. I only follow like close family, obviously, and then friends. No, I don't even follow friends anymore. It's just like other influencers. Yeah. And then, so yeah, and then that's it. I started posting, and I've not stopped since. I did have a little break in between, for personal reasons, and sometimes you feel down, you don't want to post, but I still got it going till today, so I'm happy about it. I'm glad I'm come back Kaur.
Yeah, no, you know, that from where I first saw it, I just thought the way that you kind of, you know, I've got my daughter. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, trying to get into knowing about Sikhi, knowing about history, knowing about empowering, you know, young women, and women in general, within the Band, understanding kind of the stories and the lineage and where people come from, and knowing about being empowered and seeing Gatka and seeing what you're able to do is a real kind of focal point to say, if someone's doing it right now on Instagram, look, have a look at this. And you know, you always see, you know, the wow factor. It's interesting because there's this Carlsar toy that's come out, you know, the action figures, and you're like, you know, what we sort of buy our children all Marvel action figures or DC actually, and we've got actual superheroes within our own history. And how do we kind of explain that to the children? I think parents especially need that kind of help in order to do it, because their own knowledge might be kind of limited. So when you're doing, you know, your displays, or you're showing your martial arts, it's a very important role.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously I don't just do martial arts, I'm also into going to the gym, you know, stuff like that. So we'll do gym stuff, martial arts stuff, and I will talk about mental health as well. I did a talk on suicide a few months back now, a while back. And the reason I do topics like that, because no one talks about it, you know, and I think that's what people love, or I'll stand up for women when it comes to relationships. Like, I remember one of the lines I said on the last one: if you're a nanny, be or a mom, and you say to your daughter that, "Tu hai na chup raha kar," I was like, you failed as a woman, because you cannot say that. Why do you have to say that to her? What about him? It's donna na bet ke gal karo, right? Not just, oh yeah, just her. It's got to be her responsibility. She makes or breaks the house. Maybe she does, but it can't just all be on her. It's a lot of pressure. We already have to have the pressure of moving out, you know, and you know, joining a guy's house, and, you know, following whatever they do in that house, whatever. So yeah, there's that side. And, you know, and when it comes to children as well, a lot of parents have come up to, even at the camp now, and a lot of countries I've been to, parents will come up to me and be like, "Oh, we showed our daughter your videos," or children, not even just girls, like the sons as well, and they love it. They was like, "Wow, mom, she's so strong," or she's so good, and stuff like that. It's so cute. I love it. Like, I love when kids notice me more than obviously us adults, because it's like they're the future. They're so important. And they are, like, you know, when we're not here, they're gonna make the difference, you know. And it's good, because then there's so many people who have said to me, like kids and adults even, or teenagers, that, "Oh, Benji, we want to learn now because of you," or "We want to go to the gym now because of you." And it's like, oh well, you know. And it was only recently it's like kicking into me that I'm actually making a difference to people. And, you know, sometimes I'll sit with it and I'll be like, wow, I've come such a long way. Like, I've gone through so much in my life. I know I have, and people probably know I have. And that's okay, because today, like, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm happy, and people actually recognizing me for my work, for the effort I've put in to kind of, I think I didn't even know where I was going with it, to be honest. My page, I didn't know, but I'm happy that I am influencing people, empowering people, inspiring them to do better in life. P.S. I'm not a preacher, religious preacher, but if it comes across like that, fine. But believe me, for me, it's just, I want you to be a strong woman. I want you to be, or a strong man. There's men who sometimes can be a bit, like soft, you could say, and they might be going through something which is not spoken about, like, and they don't know how to get out of the situation, or they don't know how to stand up to their wife, not in a way because they're scared, but it's just they're worried about consequences, and that's okay. They're allowed to be. We knock men for doing that. So for me, it's not just women based either. It is for everyone. Anyone's shoe, like, if it fits, then that's fine. The shoe fits good. I hope it is helping you. And I have had men message me that, oh my God, I was going through such a hard time. You wouldn't believe it. I just read your caption and I thought, you know what? No, I got this, man. And I was like, wow, that's all it took. I didn't know that.
It's timing, isn't it? It's seeing things at the right time can have an influence on it. You've just spoken about a lot of the positives in terms of what social media has brought for you and kind of lifted you on a platform. Sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming to be put on a platform or be influential. What has been some of the negative sides that you've experienced because of it?
I think when it comes to me being overwhelmed, sometimes it's a negative as well, because it's like, I remember you was one of the people messaging, and then there was other few messages about, and I had to workshop to be planned, and I started looking at everything, and I was like, oh my God, and I just stepped back, and I was like to my friend, oh my God, and she was like, what happened to you? And I was like, I don't know, it's kind of a weird feeling. What's this feeling? I don't, I've been feeling emotions that I've never felt before, like, because it's new to me. You got to remember, like, I know there's obviously people are bigger than me out there and more famous, popular, whatever. But for me, I think within the community, I've done really well for the community. Like, because, I'm in Canada. I live in England, and I've been to Ireland, crazy countries like that, Ireland. And there's a woman walking past, you're so inspiring, come back, or, and just walks off. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, and I'm like, oh my God. And like, it gets overwhelming in a sense, like, I don't know how to feel about it sometimes. And then sometimes there's a negative side where I feel upset and sad, because sometimes, like, for example, I've done a video which is going to be released soon. I don't want to say anything about it because we want to keep it secret to this release. You probably know what I'm talking about. But even when we've done that video, when we've done the shots, I was so upset after that. And I spoke to one of those guys, and I was like, oh, I'm just upset. I don't know. Did I do well? And it's crazy because I'm doubting myself all of a sudden. And but it's okay. And they were like, come on, man, we've done some wicked shots. It's gonna be fine. And yeah, and then I felt a bit better. I was like, oh, you know what? I think I was just getting stressed too much. And sometimes you feel like it's too good to be true, because I'm working my way up slowly. I hope so. Anyway, I mean, I've come up since. And the other big thing is, I think it's people online who comment from, like, unknown accounts. It can be really upsetting, and they don't realize that we're upsetting somebody's daughter, we're upsetting someone's sister, someone's best friend. And sometimes those can be hard to tackle. Even the biggest influencers, biggest celebrities get affected by these people, because obviously, I guess we're used to the whole 1,000 people can say something nice, and one person says nasty thing, and we're going to hold on to that. We're not going to be looking at, oh yeah, look at all the lovely things people have said. We're going to think that, and that can upset you. Definitely upsets me, but I'm working through that now. Like, I'm trying to get to that point. Like, before, I used to be responding all the time with my feisty self, but now I'm like, okay, you've judged me, or you've said this. That's fine. Like, I'm just going to ignore you, because you're talking to a wall at this point. Then I've read it, but I'm just not going to acknowledge it. So those three are the main those are the main negative things about, I think, social media.
Yeah, I think, like, having that mental resilience of let's bring it into kind of a warrior spirit, where you having the spiritual home within you, and then the warrior sits within that. And if you remove ego within that, that's where it homogenizes, where it actually gets the right balance in between those two forces. if one
Yeah,
sort of is overpowering the other one, I think that's where you could get that tilt in terms of where things can happen. And
yeah,
I think it's almost like, for I experience it in this way when I'm doing my stuff, but I do worry about that mental resilience of the younger generation coming in, and where discipline and physical and having that health fitness, um, martial arts was one of the best sort of avenues to learn about, beating a bully,
yeah,
learning about power, learning about, the art, learning about discipline, knowing about
yeah,
rights and responsibilities. But those are hopefully a lot of them are sort of still transferable to kind of mental resilience of when people are actively trolling, bots being created to tackle certain narratives against faiths and everything else that's happening at this time. And it's getting harder and harder to have those conversations, especially around Shasta out there.
yeah.
It is I feel we're at a bit of a crossroads as well sometimes. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, for sure. Like when I post Gatka video, for me, I think so. Obviously, I have a few platforms. I'm on TikTok. My name is the same on all the platforms. I'm on TikTok, Combat Core on TikTok. I'm Combat Core on Twitter. Combat Core on Instagram, obviously. I'm also Combat Core on YouTube. Now, on TikTok, oh my god, it is the worst. When I post Gatka on there, I definitely will get racist comments against Sikhs, and it's usually, a certain type of religion or culture that actually says it. You can tell because the words are used, and it's so sad. It's so sad that you get that even now, still today. So I'd say that's obviously that also comes into the whole negative sides of the racism, not just like someone being negative like that, but actually being racist to your dharam, to what you follow. It's so sad, and it's always when I post Gatka though, which is Sikh related. So yeah.
So how's that? You gave a really brief sort of comment at the beginning of the podcast when you're traveling with Shasta. What's that like? Are you fearful when you do travel, especially going abroad?
So like I was saying, I haven't done it yet,
Oh,
but
right. Sorry. Yeah, I thought you had already done that.
no, I think maybe I may have worded it wrong, but I was supposed to for Toronto now, but I was too worried because I was like, when I go through customs, because I didn't have enough time, like I didn't have enough time to discuss it with my dad, because my dad's done it plenty of times. So I don't know what he does. Does he tell them he has, how you have to, like, especially Canada is strict, that you have to do a tick box thing and you have to say, yeah, I've got weapons, or you don't. And I'm like, what the hell do I say? I got weapons, and then what happens? Do they check my bag? And then what do I say? Like, we're insured and licensed, but it's still that thing because it's new to you.
Yeah.
Everything that's, you're a bit like, and I don't want trouble. Like me, I'm a very convenient person. I'm very like, it just has to be convenient. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
so like,
Any sign of conflict or anything like that, I'm
yeah,
exactly like that. I hate it.
yeah. I don't mind if you want to conflict me. That's cool, but as in, if it's gonna waste my time, or like, I'm gonna go through security and then they're gonna take me to a room, and all I want to do after a long journey is I want to get the hell out of there and go to bed or want to eat, you know. So these are kind of things, but obviously I will speak to my dad. It's a good question. I need to ask him, like, what do I take? Do I tell them? Do I what happens?
Yeah,
How do
because
you do it?
it's funny you say that, and now it actually makes sense. Because sometimes when you go there, you're like, have you got a weapon? And like, I go, who's actually going to say yeah? But actually, there are cases where you have to actually sort of identify it as well. So thanks for that as well. For answering that, because it does make sense now. But on your travels, you've been to a lot of countries. Which is sort of your memorable experience, or especially where you've done a show there or interacted with people?
I would say I went to a camp many, many years ago in Spain. This was when I was quite young. I'm 28, by the way. And we did a whole camp. Like, this was with my dad, though. We did a whole camp with the Spanish kids. It was so fun. Was it Spain? No, sorry. Was it Spain or Holland? Because we went to a few. But anyway,
On this tour, yeah.
Holland was good actually as well, and Spain. Spain, I got a lot of love. There was a lot of sangat there, a lot of kids that joined in, and it was a great camp. A lot of love beyond everything. And same with Holland. It was very fun. It was, good to interact with all these people similar age to me and whatnot. And some of us are still in contact till today, so we'll talk about, back then this happened, this was funny, blah blah blah. But the most recent, which I remember properly, is the course camp what I went to in Toronto. It was amazing. We connected so well, and not only did I teach them like obviously footwork, Gatka, but I also spoke about mental health in between. So obviously, I feel like they both kind of help each other. So when you feel down, do something fitness wise. It will help your mental health, and then other way around as well, whichever. So yeah, there's a connection there. But course camp was absolutely amazing, and a little short story just to share is a bit of it starts with the negative, ends with the positive. Is that I guess when you're doing well in life, people try and make sure you're not doing well. We all get it. You probably get it. There's so many other people who probably get it. And so someone was trying to stop me from going, you could say, and try to be like, this Singani, she's not a proper Singani, why are you calling her to a camp? And it was from an unknown account as well, which was funny. And they're harassing Toronto Core Camp and Sikh Initiative, and just like, trying to kind of put me down. Why are you calling her? And they were doing it for weeks. So it was a bit like, okay, this is a bit full on. And I guess some people are the kind of people who would follow that and be like, you know what, this has happened. We're going to listen to this person and we're going to not invite her, for example. But this group, the Toronto camp, the girls, or it was actually a team of girls and boys, the camp people from Toronto, Sikh Initiative team. They told me about the situation and they said, this is happening. But you know what? We want to give them a good reply so they can be quiet. And I was like, okay, for sure. And they had mentioned my name. She's going to be involved. We're all going to do a video call. Since you have a lot to say, let's do it. No response. And I was like, see, this is what the world is like. You want to put people down behind a scene, behind a screen. But then when it's time to face them, where are you? If you're saying whatever you're saying about me or anyone else, any other influence, when you put them down, I see it with happening to other people. Please face them and talk to them about it. Why are you going to hide behind the screen? And look at that. It kind of backfired on that person because it's just amazing experience came out of it. I got to still go. Obviously, they were still going to call me, and obviously, like I said before, I'm not a preacher anyway, so I'm not going to be perfect. I am not perfect, but I just try my best. That's the thing. And it was amazing, and that's it. I won.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I saw one thing. It might be a bit of a kind of left field curve on this. You also got interested in being a stunt woman. Is that right?
Yeah. Wait, how do you know that? Did I mention that?
No. Hey, look.
That's crazy. Oh my god! I was just talking about the other day as well to my friend. And I was like to her, oh, like that's I really want to be one. And I looked into it when I was in England, but then I stopped looking into it because obviously the whole transitioning here, moving and stuff. But I want to look, when I get time properly. Obviously, I'm still like doing stuff here, still doing projects, and I want to catch up. I'm a very like chill woman. I like to do projects. I like to do my job. I like to, make money without stress. So when I have time, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I have time to sit and look into this. Then I will do it. But yeah, I really want to be one. Oh my god.
What does the average week in terms of when you're balancing your from a fitness point and your commitment, like if it was the best week of your training, what does it look like so people can get an idea?
Yeah. So recently I've only been, because obviously it's hard when you go on holiday, then I kind of, I'm falling back again. But I try and be active however I can, whether it's like going on hikes when I'm on holiday, going for long walks, if I'm on holiday, especially when the weather's hot anyway, you're losing calories, you're sweating, whatever. But when I'm back home and I'm properly at home, as in I'm not going anywhere, then I try and hit gym like 6 times a week. And then when it's my lazy week, or I'm going through something, then it cuts down to like probably like 3. I build it up. So obviously I've been on holiday and coming back, so I'm going to build it up. So far I came back. When did I come back? I forgot when I came back. It was
3 weeks, maybe.
No, it's been only a few days since I've been back.
Oh, sorry, Tuesday. That's Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
that's it. Yeah, so I came back, and then obviously I went Thursday, so just yesterday I went training. Today, look, I got the podcast with you, so I wasn't able to go because in the evenings I like to have my own time, wind down. Like I'm gonna go to a Kirtan program today too. So it's like, you know, and then you just get tired. So I like to either get my workout done in the morning or early afternoon, and then if I don't, then I don't. So whatever.
So is there particular exercises or things you do to improve your Gatka skills?
So not for, well, yeah, I run. Yeah, I try and do cardio because you need cardio for Gatka for sure. Especially if it's only like a few of us doing it, then it gets hard, you know, because it's going to be your turn again in like 10 seconds. So I for that it's just cardio really that helps. And I would say even like picking up weights, you know, tries, buys, whatever, it's good because some shastras are heavy, to be honest. But it's funny because like all the cardio and strength building of your arms or whatever, it can be done in Gatka too, because obviously picking up shastra, using shastra that are heavy, doing Gatka really fast with speed, that's all cardio strength building as well. So yeah.
What's like the weight? What would you say of the heaviest shastra that you use?
The heaviest one, I'm not really good with kgs, but I don't know, like 5-6 kg, and it gets heavy because not when you hold it, but when you're swinging it, it feels heavier. So that's the tricky part when you're actually swinging it around.
Yeah, because I remember, you know, when I've been to India, you go to the Gurdwara, and you just see some of the shastra that was being used at the time, especially that Baba Deep Singh, and like you just see the size, and the you could just imagine the weight. It's like how strong those people were, just unbelievable.
Exactly. You know, back in the days, there was more Bani, Bhakti, meditation, Simran. You know, there was more of that and more training, less laziness, eating less crap. You know, there was, because of all that. Then obviously the people were bigger back then. They could handle bigger shastra. They could go on for longer. We've become, you know, less into Sikhi, less into Bani, less into doing Simran, being more lazy and letting negative things take over, and then we just stay home, and now it's all become like, oh, we need to heal before we do anything. You know, it's become so much like that we forget, like, actually you can choose your thoughts, you can choose your happiness, you can choose your actions. You're just deciding that because in the moment you just think it's right, but actually no, when you're sad you need to get out. And I promise you can even message me if it does happen, but next time you're sad and you don't feel like doing anything, you feel depressed, go to the gym or go for a run or even go for a walk then, and tell me that doesn't change anything for you. If it doesn't, you know what? I'm saying to myself, cuss me out, okay? But if it does, then praise me.
So what's the biggest injury or near miss that you've ever had?
For me, so I don't know if you can see on camera, but I have less eyebrows on this side.
I've only got one eyebrow, so I can't really say anything.
God. Anyway, it's all right. I'm one eyebrow, me.
That's fine. I used to, as a kid, that really bothered me because it used to be like it's like the McDonald's sign. I used to get that. So
In school. Oh, are you talking about that person on McDonald's?
yeah, that's it.
Just slap myself that. But no, I rate people though who can, you know, confidently still walk out there, like, you know, oh wow, you got hair here, like. Like, honestly, I look up to those people and think, wow, that's good, because some people are like, gotta get rid of this, and like men especially, and I'm like, really, men? I don't know.
Let's go to the injury because this is triggering a lot of old school thoughts.
So sorry. Okay, unwind that, erase that. Anyway, so when it comes to injury, So I used to obviously do Gatka when I was little with my dad, and I was only like what 6, 7. We're at the gym because it was like a gym we used to train in back then, and had loads of mirrors. And it was like so obviously what happens is at Gatka classes is, once we've done the warm-up and everyone starts doing their own thing in their own spots. What I decided to do when everyone's practicing, doing their thing, I'm running, right? And I run, and this guy, he swings, and he doesn't see me, and he swings onto my face, and he smacks my head, like smacks my face. Obviously, I start crying, and then I'm like, oh, like whatever, it's fine, blah, blah. And my dad picks me up. He takes me to the mirror, and he's like looking at it, like with me, and he's like, oh, and he didn't realize how bad it was, but he's like, oh no, like, what the hell, man? It's like really bad. Then he had to take me to the hospital, and they had to do a stitch. So I had stitches on this side. But yeah, so I don't remember the pain. I just remember me crying, and I remember obviously like that happening. I just remember a swing, and I just remember crying.
Yeah.
Like
I said, that the only one I remember, like, was my mate. He lost he came in to sixth form the next day with his half a tooth. Sanga,
yeah.
he knows who he is. I'll just leave it as that. So what does the sort of next sort of 6 to 12 months look like for you? What's your aspirations for Combat Core? What's the next sort of evolution?
I don't really believe in planning long term. Reason is because anything can happen anytime. My views started changing when my brother got into the accident and my nephew passed away. Did we know that was going to happen? No, we didn't. So, I know someone could say, well, you're still can have aspiration. Yeah, I have aspiration. Like I said, I want to be a stunt woman, for example. Whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. Because right now, I'm not really prioritizing that. God might put something here in front of me now and be like, you have time, have a look. For example, I just feel like everything happens according to what God wants. And if God wants me to be a stunt woman, it's going to happen. And I'm not stressing whether I be it or not. Because right now, I just live in now. I live in, okay, what I'm going to do today. So I know I'm going to go keep the program today, for example. I know I'm going to go and eat before I go out. Like, I don't really plan long term because I feel like if I do that, it's going to be like a stress on my mind that, oh my God, but you didn't do this, but you didn't do that. So I'd rather not. I can say what I want to do, and we'll just see when it happens. So, for example, okay, even for my birthday, obviously my birthday's on 31st of March. I want to go to Hawaii for my birthday. So we're planning it, me and my friends. But I'm not going to be like, oh, like it's going to happen
next week.
31st of March.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought you said 31st of August. Sorry.
No. So, I can plan like that because it's a special day event. But when it comes to my own thing, like about CK, anything can happen because someone can message me tomorrow about a collab. Or, like, I might end up planning a trip to San Fran. I don't know what's going to happen. But all I know is I want to continue inspiring people, empowering people. I want to help you. I want to help people. I want to, just keep doing what I'm doing right now. Continue that, and we'll just see how it goes. There's no, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I'm not putting that kind of pressure on myself, basically.
Sorted. Right. Okay. So this is called the Bandwagon. So what I do is at this section of the podcast, I ask the guests, is there a bandwagon that they want to jump on? Is there a bandwagon that they want to jump off? Or is there anything that they want to get off their chest? This is their space to kind of discuss.
Okay. I'll probably mess it up, but, we'll just keep trying to like that. Okay, good.
No, it's your space. Is there anything that you want to get off your chest that you always wanted to, something that's bugging you now, or you want to have an opinion on, or this is your space to do so?
What really bugs me, I would say, is when people don't support each other. I think it's really important that people support each other. Stop hating on each other. Stop being jealous of each other and join hands. If you can't join hands with the person because you feel like they're too much, they're too pretty for you, or they're too confident for you, or anything like that, then just keep your mouth shut and just keep walking, because people don't need the negativity. I don't want it. You wouldn't want it. No one wants it. So if you have something good to say, do say it. and do, show that as well, show that love. But if you have nothing good to say, don't say at all. And that's it. I think that's my main message to people, or even to anyone, that love over hate always.
Wow. Thank you very much. The way that you put that succinctly together was amazing. I really appreciate it. Thanks. I'm going to bring it to a close. I really appreciate you taking the time and getting a real brief insight in terms of some of your journey and your learning. And I really hope that you continue on your pathway to become the stunt woman. Look into Jackie Chan, look into the other martial arts, looking at everything like that. And thank you for really taking this time out. I know you got a really mad schedule, so for us to fit this in was great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel good we got this done. Like, I feel like, wow, it feels like a ding, tick off the list. I feel happy. Yay. I'm looking you now. My turn to be like, have you edited it yet?
Yeah. I always get it out quickly, so it's not a problem. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Honestly, it means a lot. And you value me by inviting me. I feel valued. I feel special. I'm very, very thankful. And I hope God makes me I hope God keeps me this way. I don't ever want to, no matter how high I get in life or how much more popular I get, I want to keep loving people, and I keep my DMs open for anyone who ever needs help. And that's it. Happy life to everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.